who's a member of the Chesterfield Board of Supervisors. She represents Midlothian. I guess I haven't seen you in a year, but every time I used to see you at political events around town, we had a good chat, and I'm happy to have you here because you're announcing, just a few days ago that you're going to try to be the Republican nominee for Attorney General of Virginia?
Well, good morning, John. And yes, I announced just a couple of weeks ago that I am seeking the nomination. Yes.
Well, tell me, that's a big step. You were chair of the Board of Supervisors back when I first met you, I believe. That's right, yeah?
That is correct. And so I had the opportunity to serve as vice chair for 2 years and then as chair for the last 2 years. And I think that we have done incredible work in Chesterfield. But candidly, I looked at what was happening in this state, and John, I'm an ethics lawyer. I can't deal with this lack of integrity that's happening, and I decided I wasn't going to sit on the sidelines and just watch it go on. I was going to jump in and be hopefully a part of the major change that we can make happen.
Is that a shot at Mark Herring, the sitting Attorney General? Do you think he's been shady or unethical in the way he's managed the office and the way he's managed these cases and legislation?
That's a shot at Mark Herring because I think Mark Herring has been the lawyer for the party and not the lawyer for the people. And that's what the Attorney General of Virginia is supposed to be. And I think that, just some of the actions that he's taken or the inactions he's taken has had a direct impact on the citizens. It's had a direct impact on people feeling safe. His lack of ability to hold the parole board accountable. His most recent action. So he just announced this authority that he's creating with these monies that will be coming to Virginia from this opioid settlement. So every one of our jurisdictions and our citizens have been impacted by this opioid epidemic. And candidly, the numbers are escalating right now during the pandemic because we all know the impact, the mental health impacts, and the resources are really impacted during this time. So he just announced the creation of this authority that is going to return 15% of the monies the state gets directly to the cities and counties. Now, all of the evidence shows that everything that's being done with recovery, with rehabilitation efforts is happening in the actual regional jurisdictions. And, we in Chesterfield have been really blessed to have an incredible sheriff in his HARP program that has been nationally recognized. The monies that he is and the resources that we are putting directly on our citizens, and Herring's going to waste 70 to 80% of this in state bureaucracy and authority. And I think that's just an exact example of his failure to understand and listen to and advocate for the citizens of the Commonwealth.
Yeah. If you were to become Attorney General, would you be as much of an activist as he has been? For conservatives, for Republicans? How would you thread that?
Absolutely. But I think that in a much different way. I think that he has impeded. He's been so over-regulatory. You see what's done to business in this state. We used to be number one. We used to be right at the top. And we have all the resources. We have we are in the right place with all the great resources to get back to number one. But his office, because of that, has definitely been an impediment to that. And he's had his 8 years, and we're seeing, the result of those 8 years in outcomes like that. And, John, I'm the interesting lawyer in that, I spent 10 years in the business world before I ever went to law school. So, I've had the opportunity to run, business aspects of working for Philip Morris. I had accountabilities, worked off of large budgets, know how to deal with personnel, and I have my own law firm right now. So I think that balance is something that's very much needed.
How's the campaign going? Are you able to raise money? This will be an expensive race to the nomination, and then whoever gets the nomination, I'm certain it's going to be an expensive race headed towards November.
I think that's very true, and the campaign's going great. So far we've had very good response. We've had, we're waiting for State Central, obviously, to tell us what the game plan is moving forward, but we are grassroots out in the community, sharing our message, talking to folks, and obviously at a higher level, having conversations with the folks that can fund the campaign. And so far I've had really good positive response, and John, I'm not afraid of the hard work it takes.
No, I've seen you out at these events, shaking hands. I mean, I guess that's my next question for you and anybody else who comes on. I'm hoping that by summertime, life returns to normal. People who are at risk have had the vaccine, and everybody's more comfortable in social environments, including campaign environments. But how do you campaign if it, is the end of summer instead of the beginning of the summer? What do you do?
Well, I'm really proud of the party that they have really engaged in using the technology that's available. So we're spending, almost every evening on Zoom calls with, committees, Republican committees across the state. And, honestly, sometimes they're attracting more people because they can, folks can be in the comfort of their home and still with their families, or still even eating dinner and jump on a Zoom call. And so we've seen large numbers of participants, and that ability to get our message out and have those dialogues is, I think, really using technology to its best.
Yeah, well, that's important. I remember in the last congressional race, those Zoom calls opened up the ability for people to check out the candidates, paying the $25 to get a ticket to go to an event or a fundraiser, and then hanging out with people you may not know. That's off-putting to a lot of people, but anybody can sign on to a Zoom call and kind of get a feel for where the candidate is. So you're right, if you're using that technology, that may get you through these next few months. And then everybody does want to shake the hand of the person that they may vote for. How do you feel Chesterfield's doing vaccine-wise before we go here? I'm sure that's on the minds of a lot of folks in
I'll be honest with you, John. We are working, folks need to understand the health district here is part of the Virginia Department of Health. And so,
right.
Our role as county government is to provide support to them as best we can. And we have opened that door, and I think maybe leading the way in a new relationship with them that the state is supporting this week. But, we've not gotten our percentage, our equitable percentage per capita of vaccines. And we've been loud about it. We've written a letter to the governor. We've advocated with our state delegation, who candidly has been right on board with us. They've all stepped up to share our message. And, we know folks have to be patient, but we should still be, at least from an allocation perspective, getting our fair share. And we're going to continue to be loud about that. The distribution to our citizens is improving. The Department of Health has put up a new portal that folks can register with, but I know it's been frustrating. We've spent a lot of time trying to help our folks maneuver through it.
Yeah, well, it's the big issue for the next 60, 90 days, I'm sure. And thank goodness we're beginning to see things turn around. It's shocking to me that we got to this point, because everybody knew the vaccine was coming. What day it was going to be approved was debatable, but everybody knew it was coming. And I don't want to play politics with it, but I am surprised that the state officials didn't have that ready to rock and roll immediately, instead of some of the other things they have micromanaged, almost to death. I appreciate you joining us. I hope we'll talk a number of times between now and the convention or the primary, whatever it winds up being. Leslie Haley from the Chesterfield Board of Supervisors. She represents Midlothian, and she is now a candidate for Attorney General of Virginia, seeking the Republican nomination. Thanks, Leslie.
Thanks so much, John, and hopefully I'll see you in person soon.
Oh, hey, what's your website, just so that people can look you up?
Thank you. It's Haley4AG.com.